TOAST is an acronym for the Ancient Order of Smai Tawi. TOAST is an online information center for the Netaru, angelic beings who are descendants from the divine light of Amsi-Heru. TOAST also welcomes open-minded individuals and truth seekers from all spiritual walks of life. The ancient order of Smai Tawi was established in the 25th dynasty, 747 to 656 BC, by the Kushite pharaoh Neterkashta. Pharaoh Kashta was divinely ordered to rule Kemet and resolve the spiritual and political disarray that had plagued our holy land. Kashta was ordained pharaoh Pa'ah in the holy city of Waset. He was coronated in the temple of Amun-Ra, located in the great complex of Ipet Resite, known today as Karnak. The word Amun-Ra means the hidden light of God. Pharaoh Kashta and his progenies re-established the Nubian line of Netaru as rulers of Kemet. The 25th dynasty was dedicated to removing the yoke of foreign rulership from Kemet and the honorable embellishment of Ipet Resite, our holy temple complex for angelic beings on earth. TOAS's objective is aligned with the mission and will of our primogenitors of the 25th dynasty, who established the organization known as the Ancient Order of Smai Tawi. The Kemetic word for Smai Tawi means to join together or unify, to bring about the union with self and higher self, to unlock generational powers within the self. TOAS's mission is to serve those who are in spiritual disarray and reintroduce them to the sacred order of the angels, the angelic beings. This is achieved by teaching holistic ionic communication and divine union with our primogenic higher powers, those latent powers within one's self, the Ipet suit. TOAST. Greetings, everyone. I'm your host here, Taharka Alim. Greetings, everyone.
Do you hear that
I'm
overlap?
your host here, Taharka. Yes, I do. Greetings, everyone. Wow, that's like a delay, huh? Host here, yes, I do. Greetings, everyone. Wow, that's like a delay, huh? Host here, yes, I do. Greetings, everyone. Wow, that's like a delay, huh? Host here, yes, I do.
Okay, I did that. Thank you.
That was you, Fatima?
Yeah, I had
How did that happen?
I had Windows open and I had Safari open and I have Chrome open. Safari doesn't support StreamYard, or at least I was never able to get it through there. So Photon told me to turn off my Windows, which I did. So
Oh,
I turned off all of Safari. So we're okay now. Is that okay now?
yeah,
Mm.
it's
Is it
fine with
okay,
me.
Photon? Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
That's why you can't go but so far, Photon. You can't leave us alone here.
you know we don't know how to act. Yeah, I'm as you may have heard 5 or 6 times, I'm Taharka Arlene, your host here, and I'm blessed to have my sister, my music partner, my room or womb, actually my womb sister, because she comes from the same womb that I came out of, my mother's womb.
So
And with the same sperm, my father. We have the same
yeah, yeah, with the
father.
same, with the same sperm, with my father's sperm, you know. So you can imagine, and we accomplished and did a lot of things together, you know. As a matter of fact, my sister was with me in the group, Ghetto Fighters. And I did want to talk about that. I guess this would be a good time to just mention one particular fact that I think is important in this particular meeting that we're having. You know, like it was about, must have been about 1968. The Ghetto Fighters was honored to work with an iconic genius of the time, and actually even beyond that particular, went on beyond that time, Mr. Jimi Hendrix, who was a close friend of ours, and he invited us to work on an album of his called Cry of Love. Very beautiful album. And that gave me an opportunity to work very close with Jimmy and to see how his mind operated, see how the type of individual he was. And in 1968, to see an individual like Hendrix was astounding to me, to see his ethics, his spirituality, to see the type of person. And he was a few years older than me. And he was definitely an encouraging sight. He was a mentor, if you will, for the mind that I ultimately have right now. I give credit to him to this very day because there's things that I'm still learning from my experience with him. After his ascension, ironically, the group, Ghetto Fighters, we changed our names to Prana people. Now, that's interesting because prana means, in an indigenous language, it means life, breath. And ironically, when we worked as prana, there was certain things that was compelled as a writer. I was compelled to say in the music that we were doing at that time. One of the songs, if you remember, Fatima, we did a song called "Angels Say Flee" and "Is Your Life a Party?" These are two
Mhm.
that really sticks out in my head even today because it's relative to what we're dealing with and what we intend on dealing with it as far as this topic is concerned. Is your life a party? And angels say flee. Now, angels say flee was very interesting because if you recall the lyrics, I'm going to just go over the lyrics of the first verse, Fatima. It said, for those who are wise, open up your eyes, learn the higher laws, learn the science of life. Foolish men doubt his doom he sprouts. He thinks he's reached unheard of heights, he's blind in sight. Foolish pride has covered up his eyes. He will never reach the other side. So, with his health or wealth, polluted health, leave him to destroy himself. Angels say, flee. Over the years, I had to go over that because, to a certain degree, that was, I had to grow into the various dimensions of what that was actually saying. And even though I was one of the deliberators of this particular message, the fact of the matter is, I still had to even grow into the knowledge of what we were actually talking about, what we were actually saying. You know, I knew it from a superficial perspective. I don't know how you've seen it, Fatima. You was always more advanced than me, but so I don't know what you were seeing when we were saying that, and everybody was talking about love, love, love. All you need is love. All you need is love. And so everybody was doing the love, love thing. I remember even Barry Gordy's brother told us, you gotta get with that love thing. Come on, man. All that that's other stuff is too heavy. Remember that? Do you
I
remember
do,
that?
I do, which was one
You
of
know,
the reasons why we wasn't with Motown,
that's
because we weren't doing the commercial work that they wanted us to do.
nor were we prepared to, because he would have given it. I remember
Yeah,
Suzanne Pass. They
I
would have
remember.
given us they would have given us a pass.
No, they wanted to give us a
They
pass.
wanted to give us a pass, but we had to get into that love, love, love.
Right.
And and we weren't ready for the love, love, love. We were on a mission, apparently. And I don't think that I've ever gotten off of that mission. What about you?
No, no, never, and I never will. And unfortunately, I would say maybe we never received the finances that we would have received possibly if we would have gone with Motown, but we received so much more. As I see, I mean, we still don't want for anything. We have a family that love us and that we love, and
Huge fan.
we've cultivated our family and our love within our family. And that's not to say that the brothers and sisters who were with Motown did not do that, but perhaps we were steered from that way because perhaps, well, obviously that wasn't where we were supposed to go.
Well, if you
And
remember, that was pre Stevie. Stevie had just come in, and later Stevie got into which is a whole nother story when he came and visited us when we were doing a thing at the Electric Lady Studio,
Mhm.
and he heard us doing Mobile Stinker and Tojo, and then right afterwards we heard "Living Just Enough for the City." It made us feel as though, wow, Stevie stole our song. Remember?
Yeah, well, but what an honor, right? What
What
an
an
honor
honor. Yeah,
for
what an
to
honor,
have.
because that
And
was
he didn't, and people know he did not steal our song.
no,
I'm
no, but
sure that it was we inspired him. Or my
we
brother,
inspired him. And I
yeah, my
and
brother's lyrics and music inspired him.
absolutely. And I spoke to Stevie because we had developed a very powerful relationship afterwards for years. As you might know, because you did a show with him, and you told me to help you to get him so that he could do this show out in
In Phoenix, right?
Phoenix,
He came
Arizona.
twice. He came
Talk
twice.
talk about that show.
Well, it was during the Martin Luther King Jr. Boycott, the boycott of the cities. The cities boycotted certain sports events or athletic events because of
Mhm,
the holiday or the lack thereof. And
mhm.
finally, Phoenix got the holiday, and that was where actually Stevie started all of that, the boycott. If you
Right.
remember, it was Stevie Wonder who started. And so I talked to you and I can't think of the brother who just passed away, your best
Birdsong,
friend.
Edwin Birdsong.
Yeah, Edward Birdsong. And Birdsong helped me to bring Stevie here, which
Mhm.
was a blessing. I worked my butt off, and he finally came. And one of the things I said to him, I said, "You started this, and now we have the holiday, so you're going to have to put it into this," which was the boycott. And he did. He was really very gracious, very wonderful about coming out and
Mhm.
doing the show here. We did it at America West Arena, which is something different now. I think they call it something different now, but we did it there, and there were over what 15,000 people there.
Mhm.
We had
Mhm.
over 500 performers, and it was like one of the highlights of my life because Stevie, but he was the last one on the stage, so he would not come out because he wrote a song for that particular event while he was there. So when
Wow.
he was supposed to come out, he didn't come out because Stevie was doing Stevie with the gospel choir from First Institutional Baptist Church. He was doing the writing a new song for that particular event, and he finally came out late, and it didn't matter because he came out and he was absolutely phenomenal. So that was just a wonderful, wonderful thing, and a blessing to have Stevie come out. And I didn't even think of having a discussion about what you just talked about with him. I didn't even think about having that kind of a discussion with him because I didn't even remember. You know,
Right.
I was the baby sister.
Well,
So
it's a good thing. Well, it's a good thing I wasn't there because I might have brought it up
at
and
the wrong
killed the
time.
whole
The
killed the
kid
whole
whole there
concert.
going concert.
He wouldn't have wrote the song.
Yeah, the Winans were doing that show with us as well. So it was really an incredible event. And thank you to Stevie Wonder once again for coming out to Phoenix to put to start the beginning of the new Martin Luther King holiday for the city of Phoenix.
Right, because as a matter of fact, Phoenix was the last city, if I recall, in America to make Martin Luther King a holiday. Am I right?
Well, that's possible. I don't know. You know, who remembers back that far about stuff that's not as important as what we're talking about today?
Well,
I mean, for real. I don't
yeah,
remember.
I don't know. I think that's one of the things that I was going over in my mind when I was talking how the future, how the past, present, and the future, how the past is what makes up the future. And the things that we do back then are the stepping stones to the future.
Yeah,
You
I read
know?
something very lovely the other day on this piece on creativity, and it said that our past are made up of memories of moments. That's what
Mhm.
memories of moments. That's what our past is. Our future is made up of possibilities, moments of possibilities.
Mhm.
And so what's important is that we live right now because the present we have those moments. I mean, the past we have those memories and those moments, memory moments. And the future are possibility moments. But right now we are creating our history and we're also creating our future. So that's why it's
Well,
important for us to live right now, to
I,
be
I, I, I
living it
think
now.
right now is the future.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. It's future
Because every moment,
yeah.
right now, because remember we were talking about Stevie Wonder. That was in the past,
That's
right?
right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's all past, present, and future.
It's
It's
all
all
moving.
past, present, and when we realize that, then we make the right moves. We make very conscious with them. If we're conscious of that, then we make conscious moves.
Right.
Uh, Speaking about the present or the now, photon. One of the things that I was that came to my attention was the situation that's actually happening in the Ukraine, which is very big. This seems to be the topic of the day. Ukraine. What is it? COVID is now a thing of the past. Talk about past, present, and future. COVID now is a thing of the past, apparently, when it comes to the news. And Ukraine is the thing of now. I see where on the internet many people say, God bless the Ukraine and the Ukraine this and the Ukraine that. And I think I would like to see God bless everything, you know. Uh, However, I ran across certain things in the news that discuss how Black people are suffering over in the Ukraine as we speak. And I have a short video that I love to be able to uh, show after I make this particular announcement on what the title of this show is: Evolution, Pros and Cons of National and International Status of Black People Around the World. So I want to go into that because I think after my period of time being and my experiences, I have things that I like to share that might be helpful to our children and to our people out there. Uh, would you please run that video, Proton, for us to take? Well, before you do that, I like to say hello to a 7-Eleven 3N. You know, I'm glad that you like these stories. And there is also another one out there, pretty brown. Oh, that's my pretty brown eyes.
You know what you forgot to mention, and how dare you? That I
What?
used to sing with Laura Nero. I did the Monterey Pop Festival with Laura Nero.
Oh yes, yes, right.
We can
And
move
Jimmy
on.
was at that festival, as a matter of
Jimmy
fact.
certainly
That's when he
was. He
made
certainly
his
did perform at that festival.
debut in America. I
Right.
remember when he was going over to do that. Yeah, right. And you were there already.
I was there
You and
performing
Laura
on stage with those
on stage, kid. You married me, Bill, and all of that. Yeah. No,
Wedding
no.
Blues.
Well, we
And
can
that's,
go into
matter of
all
fact,
of. We
that's
can
when
go
Laura
into your. We
mentioned.
can give you your adulations later.
Oh, wait a minute. So we can talk all about you and Jimmy, but you can't talk about me and.
But
well,
but you were part of that too.
I see who you are.
Part of
now.
that world. You know. But Laura was bad too. I remember Tunde said, she's not gonna make it. Okay. Photon, if you could play that video so that we can go and get into the
They say
this particular story. I want y'all to look at this. I want y'all to check this out.
It's only about 3 minutes, so it's not.
Yeah,
very
it's only
long.
3 minutes. But check it out. It'll give you an update. Is this my job, my duty, or yours?
they say wars do not make men great, but they do bring out the greatness in good men. War may bring out the worst in human nature, and that is what is happening in Ukraine right now. As the Ukrainian war escalates and as more Russian troops keep gaining ground, most people are finding themselves in a precarious situation where they have to leave Ukraine for the neighboring countries. And African governments have requested neighboring Poland to host their citizens who have been living in Ukraine. But there seems to be a problem. For Africans who made the long trip from the eastern side of Ukraine, from cities like Kiev and Odessa to the Polish border, using their own resources, they are now being denied entry. They are not being seen as refugees like the rest. They are being seen as asylum seekers. Many black Africans stuck in Ukraine have reportedly been refused entry into Poland. Several people have reported that Ukrainians are the only ones being accepted in many cases. Inside Ukraine, things are getting even worse. There's racism openly playing out in broad daylight. There was this particular video where Africans were being refused entry into a train taking people from Ukraine to Poland. Africans were forced to wait for all Ukrainians to go first in several trains and had to wait until the last Ukrainian had boarded trains before they would be allowed to get into one.
These are the black community. We are not allowing any black people to enter inside the gates. We are all here. It's only Ukrainians that they are allowing in. Even the ones with kids, they're not allowing them in. They have been here for days and nobody's asking any questions. Only Ukrainian women and kids they are allowing in through these gates. All the places blocked and all are full of blacks from different communities, from different countries. Nobody's talking to us. These are the black community. We are not allowing any black people to enter inside the gates. We are all here. It's only Ukrainians that they are allowing in. Even
And no free rides. They are paying for their own train tickets, but they are made to wait for almost the whole day until the last Ukrainian has boarded before they are let or they are allowed to board those same trains. And once they get to the Polish border, another drama begins where they are made to wait and denied entry. This kinda reminds me when COVID-19 started in China, how black Africans in China were treated back then. It seems there's never a safer place for a black African. I'm even more scared that if World War III happens, Africa and Africans will bear the brunt of that war. Kindly in the comment section below, let us know your thoughts.
Well, there you go. Why are we surprised? Are you surprised? Is that why you showed it? Because it's like, oh my God, what's going on over there? I mean,
Uh,
this is
well,
par for the course.
because very good, Fatima. As a matter of fact, that's a question that you asked me earlier. You know, and I think that's an interesting question because me, as a grandfather, great grandfather, for that matter, I think of the future. Now I'm compelled to think of the future. I look at the past and I'm compelled to think about the future because they actually, my children, represent my future. And I see that if there's nothing that I could see to help make things like that, because it's very simple. I could have been one of those who sent my child over. My child could, okay, oh, I have an opportunity to go over. Can y'all see me? Okay,
Yeah,
there I am. Let me just finish this, please. I could have had the opportunity to send my child over to Ukraine to go to school. You understand? And she would have been, or he would have been over there, caught in the same situation that everyone else. And then it would have affected me on a personal level. I would have felt it. You would have felt it. We would have felt it then. Because there's no difference between my children and the children that I've seen over there. You know, so I see this as something, and I also know things that can be done, but there are steps. But if we cannot see this, if we cannot recognize it and recognize what is it that we can do, like he said, this happens all over the world. This is consistent. This is nothing new to me. This is nothing new to you. You understand? But it would be new to my child if I am not making them privy of the various realities in life, the circumstances that they are now in, why they're in these types of predicaments, and what is it that we should do in order to rise above these things. Then, like that man said, I wonder what will happen if this is World War, if we now find ourselves in World War III. What would happen? I beg to even, I shudder to imagine what will happen to Black people all around the world if World War III was to advance us. Now you can say what you want to say,
Just in response to the woman who wrote, Ukraine is a racist country. Okay. But it was Poland that was refusing them to come in. The Ukrainians are trying to get into Poland. Is after seeing how Africans are treated in Ukraine, you regret sympathizing with them, blocking Africans from entering trains in safe places. This is Poland that's stopping them from coming into that country because the Ukrainians are trying to escape, to flee to Poland. That's not to say that Ukraine isn't a racist.
Well, no, they did it too. They stopped them from actually getting into the country. They stopped them from getting into the Ukraine stopped them from getting into the train and made them the last ones to get into the train.
Well, they were looking out for their people, right? Come on.
Well,
that's not to say that what they're doing is right or wrong, or it's an ism. It is. The reality is they were looking out for their people. Well, that's what we need to begin to do. Look out for our people.
Well, now that's because I'm not.
And they got and is it possible? Because they said that a lot of these people came in, these Africans came in from East Africa or
East Africa. Central. No, I even know of circumstances where those in America was rejected as well.
Okay, but we're rejected to go to Poland, but are they rejected to come back to America? Are they
They
rejected to
no.
go back to Africa?
Where, in other words, wherever the exodus is, they're going to be the last to get on on the boat.
Well, like the back of the bus?
Yeah, like the back of the bus.
Okay,
Like the back of the bus.
and so yes, of course, this is wrong. Absolutely, the whole thing is wrong.
Mhm.
Ukrainians are looking out for theirs. We have to look out for ours. We can't expect Ukraine, Poland, or anybody to look out for us because they never have. We have to continue to look out for ourselves. Africa, America, and African Americans here in America, we need to make whatever provisions need to be made in order to get our people, those brothers and sisters from the continent who are in Ukraine, what can we do here? What can our sisters and brothers in Africa do to get them back home or to get them here? You know, they get ready to go to another white country. They don't give a damn about them. Ukraine, I'm sure, didn't want them there when they got there, but they probably put up. I mean, whoever wanted? The only reason why we're here in America, we tried to get here from Ukraine. America said, "Hell no." The only reason why we're here now is because they brought us here to build their country. Yeah. So, I mean, what? I ain't mad at the Ukrainians. Either let me on first. We're going with our white brothers in Poland. That's not to say that it's right, because it's not right. But what is right? What is right? Looking out for your home, looking out for. I know we should be letting everybody. They should be letting everybody on the train. It doesn't matter what color. But we are in the world in 2022. And it isn't only America that racism and this insanity is happening. It's happening all over the world, and it has been happening all over the world. And so what's happening in Ukraine is no surprise to me. It's just no surprise.
Well, and I think we're definitely in agreement, and I'm not looking at it as a surprise. I'm looking at it as a situation that we have now got to be very cognizant of, because again, we don't know where this is going. We don't know where this situation is going, and we find ourselves on a leash to a certain degree, being pulled by wherever and whatever. And I think that one of the things that how I would look at it and how it comes to what my mind seems to get out of the situation, because I agree with you, but mine is, well, what do I do? How do I, everything starts in the home. It all begins. Let me see, what is this? Agreed, unless we
don't let that distract you from your thought, because you on a roll now, and you know how we not
you know how that goes, right?
Read and continue with our thought. You know what I'm saying? Just continue.
Right. Yeah. You say we have to, but see, when we say we have to look out for our people, this is that ambiguous. This is that ambiguous.
They were looking out for their people first. They were looking out for their people.
But now but hold on.
Because this whole conversation that we're having now and that you have every week, it's about looking out for our people. It's about looking out for Black people. It's about empowering them, giving them what it is that they need, what we need as a people, in order to move to the next physical, spiritual, economic stage, right? That's
absolutely.
And so why are we mad at Ukraine for looking out for their people?
I am not mad. I think
why were we there in the first damn place? Although we should be able to go wherever the hell we want, but going back home.
Yes, Fatima, but usually people are out there because of false perceptions. They find themselves perceiving things that it's greater than developing themselves. And this is what I'm saying.
Africa is the greatest continent on the planet with all the natural resources. I mean, now that you've gotten the information, hopefully that you received, hopefully you got some information from Ukraine and how they did their thing. Take it home.
And how rich they were, but not as rich as Africa.
Yeah, and go. So take that information back home. Why are you trying to get in Poland? Why are you trying to get? Why are you trying to get in? Stay in Europe. Go on home and build Africa, because that is where the power is, in us building Africa.
And you're absolutely right. But even the Africans don't want you if you don't build yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah, they do, but they'll take you back. They'll take you back.
Well, ain't that too bad?
Well, but that's why if you feel the need to go somewhere, thank you, Asia. Everyone looks out for their people first with us, right? So you expecting them to look out for you? They looking out for their people.
But Fatima, first of all, the reason why I brought it to their attention is because I'm happy. It gives an opportunity to expose. It's not just me talking, but you're seeing it from a global perspective. And when you begin to see these things from a global perspective, you know that there is work that you have to do now in order to keep this from happening tomorrow.
Right, but see, but hopefully this is a lesson for all of us. We keep running to white folks to save us, Poland, save us, Europe. I mean, you running to people who ain't saved you, who have been using you, who have abusing you, have been taking advantage of you, have been taking advantage of your continent and every country within that continent. But you running for them to be your damn savior. They're not your savior. They're not gonna save you. They don't want to save you. They shouldn't have to save you. Save your damn self.
Well, how do you? But that's great, Fatima. But to tell a bunch of people that for 1,000 years now have been looking outside of themselves for saviors, who have been always programmed to see outside saviors that don't look like them, saviors that have no interest in them whatsoever.
Well, hopefully, maybe this should be happening in Ukraine to the brothers.
Well, now.
Hopefully, this is a lesson for all of us who are looking in, as well as those who are there experiencing it. It's a horrible thing to experience, but the reality is, I bet you they figure that shit out now that they ain't your savior when you at the back of the bus again. You're line. And that's what's happening. They're taking their people first. I am not mad at Ukraine or Poland.
Or what about America? Are you mad at America?
Oh, they ain't even trying to come here, huh? They see what's happening to us. They ain't even trying to come here.
Wait. Can I say something? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to say something. I'll just jump backstage. Are you mad at Russia? Because I understand that there's this propaganda, CNN. I don't watch these type of telecast news networks, but one of the main reasons is because, I mean, the type of information that they give out, it might be misleading, and they have their own agendas. Is it fair to take Ukraine's side? I mean, don't they harbor nuclear weapons? And they're not part of NATO. What's up with Ukraine? I don't know all the politics of Ukraine, nor do I care, nor do I give a damn. Respectfully. But what I want to ask the two of you before I jump back behind the scenes is, do we supposed to take a side here, or what? How do you feel about Russia in their perspective?
I'm saying that no, I don't take a side of Russia. You got the big demon there, and then you got Ukraine. It's like you said, they got their own stuff. I say let them fight. Let them fight. Let them do what they do. That's what they do. If they're not doing it to Ukraine, they're gonna do it to America. They're gonna do it to whomever they choose. Everybody wants to be the big dog, and Russia has been wanting to be the big dog and been mad in America since the bust up of USSR. So they're going to do what they're going to do and get closer and closer to being the world power. Do I take a side with Russia? Hell no. Do I take a side with Ukraine? Hell no. I ain't taking no side. I'm taking my side of those brothers and sisters who are trying to get out of there and trying to find a refuge for themselves and their families. I just hope that this is a lesson for them to show them that you are not going to be saved in white countries no matter where you go, including America. But you got us here in America, and you got your brothers and sisters in Africa. So what? But you don't even want us when you come to Africa. The brothers and sisters who come here from Africa, they're told not to even hang out with us, not to be with us because we're bad people.
Sarah,
excuse me?
Sorry. Go ahead, finish. Cause I was just reading a comment. Sarah Maganja, she's out in Ireland. Yeah,
and she said the Russian people don't
God
even
bless you out there. God bless you out there, Sarah.
She says the Russian, right?
the
Fatima,
Russian people don't even want Putin and are protesting. Yes, exactly. They're mad at him because now he's destroying their economy and their whole way of life. So Putin is a demon, but he's always been a demon. This is not news.
You see,
you're right, Sarah. The West and America will gain the profits of this war, which is why they're just sitting back and watching.
I think that one of the things that, as I said, my reason for showing this was to expose our own weaknesses, not theirs, and of course you can see them. You'll definitely be able to see their weaknesses, but it's our weakness that I'm looking at and that I'm concerned with. And how do we develop that particular muscle that we need to develop in order for us to be able to not find ourselves? And when you think as a now person and everything is now, you'll find out that you never get anything done for the future because you're only thinking about now. And our future is our children. But we don't see that as our future. We don't see ourselves living through our children. We don't see ourselves as that is really a part of us. So we stay caught up into the now instead of saying, okay, this is how this is how I perceive things now. I perceive myself on a greater, a more extensive level than this chronological time that I'm dealing with, because in fact, it's not true. You understand? And once you start saying, okay, I'm going to make myself stronger, well, then I'm going to make my children stronger. I'm going to make my future into a more powerful future. And thus, the information that I acquire right now, I'm going to, with Holy Communion, communicate this with my children, with my offsprings, because it might be 50 years, it may be 100 years before we, as a people, can gain control of our own independence. It might take that long, but that cannot frighten us. What we have to do is be able to say, okay, one step at a time, one generation at a time. Let's start preparing our new generation. Well, how do we do that? Through homeschooling, by having the right information to help form their minds so that they can be independent, so they can be strong, so that they can be powerful enough to be able to make their next move. And that's what I'm talking about. That's how I see it. I see this.
Well, that's true. That's true. And how could you refute that? How could anyone say, no, that's not how you do it? That's exactly how you do it. But now we have to determine exactly what is that formula? What is that formula?
I'm sorry, what is that
formula?
It's a sacred formula.
Of course it's a sacred formula.
It's a sacred formula.
Of course it's a sacred formula in the name of your book.
By the way.
Sacred formulas. Yeah. And that is a way. That is a way.
I'm sure there are many other ways. I'm sure there are.
Oh gosh, that was a
maybe-
cheesy plug. Can you? Oh gosh.
No, it was set up. I had no choice.
Photon, I did not mean to use that word, but it was appropriate for the time. But the reality is like you said, there are lots of formulas, and in order for the therein lies the problem, Osa. Ednosa Omarodian said the brothers and sisters in Africa are just as divided as we are, and there lies one of the problems. It's not the problem, but it is one of the problems, Osa. So yes, I totally agree.
Ghetto Fighters wrote a song about that though. They said, now people, it's time to unify as one and stop passing negative rumors by saying that it can't be done.
Right. Exactly. We have to prepare our children.
That's one of the perceptions that we continue to circulate. Black people ain't together. Black people ain't united. Black people are united. Black people are together. Maybe our leadership is poor. Now, where does leadership begin? It begins at home. Leadership begins at home. And if you're looking for a ship to come to you outside of your relationship, the ship that you can relate to, and you think that it's outside of your ship, then you're thinking wrong. Your perception is wrong. We must become our saviors.
You know, one of the things I truly honor the Honorable Elijah Muhammad about is his whole thing was about building a nation. And whenever you're talking about building a nation, you're talking about building infrastructure first. Infrastructure means our hospitals, our schools, our methods of getting food. And not depending on others, but being self-sustaining and self-sufficient.
Self-subsisting.
Yes. So, and one of the things that we can do now, one of the things I admire about people who are into the green.
Hi, Jasmine.
Into the green thing is that they're doing that. That's not my thing, but I benefit from it and I support it. But I wouldn't be in the forefront of that fight. So the fight that I can be in the forefront of is the fight that I'm in the forefront of. So I work with young women. I work with young men. I have a rites of passage program. So whatever you can do, you may not be able to do everything, but there's something that you can do that you feel strong about that puts you in a leadership position, regardless of what that look like. And leadership doesn't necessarily mean that you're all over the world with your message. You could be right, like my brother said, you could be right there in your home. You could be right there in your neighborhood. You could be right there in your community, wherever you are and whatever you have to offer. And I think about my niece Asia right now, who is online with us today. Asia, I call her, she's a forensic scientist. Okay, she's going to say, Fatima, stop that. Stop calling me a forensic scientist. I'm only a secretary of the lab. But it's not true. She is a forensic scientist.
Well, we certainly never say she's the janitor for forensic scientists. No, she's a forensic scientist.
No, she is a forensic. Yes. She is not the janitor. She is definitely a forensic scientist. And so she has a lot to offer in her area. Now, for me to say, oh, Asia, I want you to come over here and I want you to start a recreation program, that would be misusing a resource that's very valuable and very needed. So we need to take a look. She managed a department at a cancer lab. She's a forensic scientist, like I said. See? My mother used to say, my daughter is a big anchor in Arizona. I'm like, no, mommy, I am an assignment editor. And I have done a couple of stories some time ago. So we always see our children as more, and that's because
there's nothing wrong with that. That's perception.
We know their capabilities. We also
maybe your daughter or your son Asia might be a forensic scientist.
Yeah, but anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that
no, but that's the point that we have to make.
And whatever
you have to make these things.
One of the points is that, see, what happens when you're dealing with brothers and sisters, we finish each other's thoughts, And sometimes we won't even let the other finish the thought, understanding that we're at a point in time in our age that if I don't finish my thought, I may never finish my thought until it's all over. And then I'm like, God damn it,
Now
I
I
could
know
have
you
finished that thought. I could have. The point is that use your resources, whatever resources you have, use them within your community, whatever your community looks like for you. And it's important that we do that. That's how we start to build. And then come together with organizations who are in your community and offer whatever resources you have to that specific organization. That is one of the ways that we can start building. And that's one of the things that we're doing as a people. There are brothers and sisters, young brothers and sisters, old brothers and sisters all over this country that are doing some magnificent things.
Probably all over the world for that
Well,
matter.
definitely all over the world. But, right now, we ain't traveling. They're not even letting us in Poland. So, so
Who
wherever
want to go to Poland?
somebody, well, while you're running
It's
from
cold over there. It's
you're
very
running from the
cold.
Russians to the Polish. I mean, I don't get it. But the point is that what we need to start doing is building our resources where we are and connecting with those brothers and sisters who are like-minded, and making sure that you offer whatever you have to build that organization in your community. That's a start. And if there's no community, there's no organization in your community, then start one.
I believe I think I want to comment on a thing that Asia said. The last thing she said was, "He's a little genius." Also, yeah, he's definitely a little genius,
And she's definitely his mother. But go ahead.
yeah, and we're definitely, and I'm definitely her father.
And I'm her aunt. And I agree. He is a little genius. So let's start there.
Right? So what we have here is it's a true reality, because Asia is conscious and always was conscious. I remember how she was raised. We put her on. She was the first one that drank what was it? What was the juice, Asia, that we used to give you when you was a little baby? Carrot juice. When everybody was looking at us, they were getting ready to take her away from us because we was giving her carrot juice and vegetable juice. And so now she creates a little genius. Think about that.
From carrot juice to genius.
Huh?
From carrot juice to genius.
From carrot juice to genius.
Well, and also, I think that whatever these parents, it's important that we see our children as geniuses and that we treat them as geniuses. So I applaud you, Asia. I applaud you for seeing your son as a genius and treating him as such. Because as you treat him as a genius and as you love on him as if he is a genius, then that's when he will become one. And it may not be, it could be anything from your highest mind, from your Neil deGrasse Tyson to your Stevie Wonders, to, I mean, all of these, there's all kinds
Your
of
Taharka.
geniuses.
Your Taharka.
She's saying this is the one who drank carrot juice. So what
Asia, please tap in. Asia and Omi Allen. Omi, where you at, Omi? Please tap in.
I think
dropped the link.
I think that this is one of the things
respectfully.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I think this is one of the points that I want to bring out. Also, I wanted to come out the fact that we are geniuses. The word genius means genie. The genes that are in us are genius genes. And those particular genes are genes of our ancestors. You understand? These are the genes that we're made up of. And when we are in prenatal stage, when we're going through our prenatal stage of development, the things that are literally happening, if you look at it and you study it from a biological perspective, is unbelievable. By the time we're ready to be born, we are zygotes that is total genius. The only thing that we do is we dumb ourselves down. Our abilities in the womb to communicate through telepathy, we already learned the language, telepathic language, in the womb, communicating with our mothers. And she don't realize that she can communicate back with us. And we talk and we can grow. We grow. And now when we come out of the womb, we're subjected to almost being dumbed down. And so to be conscious of who that genius is in our womb. How do we feed it? How do we take care of it? How do we communicate with it? And how do we keep and sustain that genius even after it comes out of the womb? How do we sustain that? And once we start dealing on those perspectives and we can perceive life from that perspective, then we're going to never be caught into the situation that we found ourselves in now.
So we have children who have children, which makes us grandmothers and grandfathers. And we have our grandchildren who have children, which, like you said in the beginning, we're great grandparents as well.
Right.
So it's imperative that we get through our children and our grandchildren who are having children, how important it is to raise your child, how you need to be raising your child based on the things that you just said, right? Treat them as such, treat them as geniuses, make sure that they are exposed. I would think that one of the things that I have to my advantage growing up, is growing up in a place like New York and growing up in the music industry, because it exposed me to people that I had never met before in the confines of Harlem. Right? I went outside of Harlem and I met all kinds of different people, all kinds of musicians, producers, directors, artists. And the exposure made me feel great. It made me feel as if I could do these things, because most of the people that was in my musical circle looked like me. They were Black people and they were geniuses. And it made me realize that I too am one. And so I think it's important that we expose our children to as many minds as possible and pay attention to our children. See what it is they seem to take a liking to, that they seem interested in, and expose them to that. They may really be interested in animals. We'll take them to places where they can be exposed to animals, to a place where they can, not only to the zoo, but to veterinary hospitals or places where they can truly see how animals are cared for, whether they're small animals or whether they're big animals. If they're interested in science, make sure that they're exposed to that. If they're interested in fauna and flora, make sure that you take them out into the woods, into places where they can see how these things are taken care of. What is the natural order of things? We must expose our children to as much as we possibly can, to nature, to science, to music, to the arts. Expose them to all so that they can now make a choice as to who they are becoming, who they choose to become. And then when they make that decision, it shouldn't be what you want them to be. It should what they feel they want to be. Support them in that. They have to be supported, and they may change their mind, and it's okay if they change their mind.
I'm a fervent believer that before a child considers becoming anything, they should know what they are.
Well, of course. But that happens at home.
Right. And that's where it all begins. If a child knows that they're supreme, divine, angelic beings, and accept the powers, those basic powers that they innately have within themselves, and start out with that greatness, then whatever they apply themselves to, it will be great. Whether they are basketball players, they're going to be great basketball players. Or doctors.
I got you. But you know what? In order for the child to begin to realize that, because some children will do that on their own based on the homes that they're coming from, thank you God. But the parent has to also be aware of that within themselves. Because how am I going to teach you that you're great if I don't think that I'm great? Because if I don't think that I'm great, well, then I'm going to relegate you to non-greatness because I'm not great. As a matter of fact, I may not even believe that you can be great because I'm not great and you come from me. So it's important that we teach our children and our grandchildren who are having children that they must first recognize the God in them and nurture that. Because in nurturing that, they're going to automatically begin to nurture that God in their child.
And that's
Can I say something, please?
Yes.
Because I hear you guys and I want to catch the replay, but I'm gonna really have to step off from right now. I wasn't planning on really being on this one, but can you handle the rest of this, Tahaka, if you want to go on? We're moving into the hour. We've been on for about 60 minutes, or you guys have. I respect the conversation, but I'm just saying because I'm dealing with the things in the background.
No,
Can you deal with this the rest of the show? Because I got things in the morning. It's getting late over here where I'm at. It's 10 p.m.
Okay. All right. Here's what we'll do.
Respectfully.
Because I think that our point is clear. Being that this is my show, then what I propose is to show you my way. You know, I don't know about others' ways, and there's probably millions of ways of creating that type of mind that we look forward to having. My way is this particular way, and I'm going to show you it through this particular meditation that I have now.
So wait, Tahaka, if you want to go on. I mean,
no.
I'm saying that he wants you to put on the meditation
buttons
before you go.
What?
Put on the meditation before you leave, and
we're gonna
wrap this up.
Oh, I see what Photon is saying. Photon says I have that.
Yeah, I'm not saying to end the show. I'm just saying I'm gonna have to step off. I'll listen on my headphones to what y'all's got, because I'm enjoying the content. You guys are really I'm enjoying the brother sister conversation here as well as doing the chat. I'm just saying I can't play the role as the engineer behind the scenes past this hour. But yeah, there is a 13-minute transfigurational meditation. I'm just wondering, are you capable? Do you want to try to mess with the buttons and maintain this show and do another?
I want to, because I think that I think that if we were sitting down talking to our children like we're doing right now, a lot of these are our children, this is what we would have said. And then I would have said, hey, here's something that I want you to go ahead and meditate on. Unless Fatima has something that she wants to say.
No, I totally agree with you. Photon, what he's saying is that, can you go ahead and put the meditation on?
No, you can or I can. I think if I add it to the stream, is that a way of doing it? Photon?
You're going to have to get to know how to do this, Uncle. I was just trying to so you can get used to it, because I know you know how to do it. You know how to do it.
What privileges do I get to be a great
Photon? Let him learn how to do that on your time. Y'all up in the same house. Let him learn how to do that on the time that you and him got together.
Yeah, you got it.
We're not in the same. We're not even in the same city. I'm in Virginia, but I don't know what you're talking about. But you're just a talker there. But I hear you. But I have no clue what you're talking about.
Okay, so that's new to me. Okay,
she don't know nothing about the new world.
I'm happy to hear that.
I haven't seen him in over like 2 months right now, respectfully. Cool. But next time I'm in New York City, actually, no, I'm gonna be there probably in the next few days. But yeah, I hear you, Fatima.
Okay, sweetie. So
he doesn't know how to do Photon, put on Photon. Hit it.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hotep, angelic beings. Welcome to the ancient order of Smytawi's Transfigurational Meditation Cipher for the development of the angelic beings' extrasensory perception faculties, ESP 101. As we evolve as netter beings, our instincts lead us towards the development of our ESP abilities, a necessary component to communicate through and to our own personal higher self. To achieve this goal, the netter must be cognizant of the existing gateways to the higher powers, higher self, or higher selves, and how to use them with proficiency. Moreover, it is essential that the netter knows the protocols for entering these dimensional realms. Our lessons will explore and exercise in the usage of 3 gateways that can transport us to these quantum realms for higher conscious communication and overstanding. They are transfigurational meditation, sleep, and silence. It is important that you remember, proficiency is based on knowledge and input. 1. Transfigurational meditation. This process involves transcending thought itself and experiencing a state of pure awareness and intuition, in which one is aware but without an object of thought, but the readiness to process incoming signals and information from one's higher self, then transform or metamorphosize into an exalted and glorified being. Our primogenitors teaches us that the netter's meditation rituals must include A. The prescribed rituals for invoking one's higher self, and B. Knowledge of the holy name of one's divine primogenitor's higher self. Remember, knowing the name of a person, place, or thing is essential for achieving your goal. The Amsi Heru. Since time immemorial, the holy name of your now latent higher self is known as the Amsi Heru. In the netter being, the Amsi Heru is that human immortal cell that sparks the miraculous, supreme, and creative intelligence and memory of the all. Your higher self is, in fact, your extrasensory perception. Awakening your Amsi Heru is an astro-spiritual phenomena. Nevertheless, applying these lessons with dedicated exercise
What's up? I can't hear you. Are you on mute? You must be on mute. You on mute. Get yourself off of mute. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Well, you are on mute. Get yourself off of mute. Tahaka, if you can hear me, get yourself off of mute.
Fatima, there are 3 different buttons over here that says mute. Unfortunately, something happened. Photon, were you listening to the
I was
piece?
listening and it went off.
Okay, Photon.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, yeah. I was I didn't know I'm connected to all of this still. Yeah, I was disconnecting everything. All right, let's dang.
Was that Tajadine Tahaka?
What are you talking about? Yo, this woman
What?
is is
Wait a
bugging.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Please,
Let's not go into that.
All right,
Right?
let's
Go
do
back
it.
to
I'm
go
working
back
on
to
it.
the video.
I'm working on it. I'm working on
All
it.
right.
I'm
Let's
working on
not
it.
get into. Let's not get
I'm not
into
getting into
personal
nothing.
feelings.
I'm not getting into nothing. All I'm just
Okay.
saying is, I'm just saying, I'm trying to let's see
Don't
here.
say
I just
that. Let's
disconnected.
get
I
to the
just
video.
disconnected. Right. Hold up. Let me see. Bang, 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 bang. Right. 3. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just let this, because this is kind of I'm trying to I'm all over the place. Sorry. All right. Here we go. But do you see that blue button at the top? At the top. I think I got it. But I'm gonna let this run. But you see that blue button. So when it ends,
Screen
just
layout press.
say that again.
Is that
See, all I'm just saying is when if I'm not around, you're gonna have to get a hang of this. So when it ends, this is a 13-minute. All right, let me say this real briefly. This is a 13-minute transfigurational meditation. Is there a name for this one?
No, it's just a transfigurational meditation.
All right. So I'm not gonna touch it. I'm gonna just let it rock. I was just I'm moving.
Don't worry about
I'm
it.
doing a lot of stuff.
Okay.
All right. Let's do this. Let's hit it. All right.
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody.
Hotep, angelic beings. Welcome to the ancient order of Smitawi's Transfigurational Meditation Cipher for the development of the angelic beings' extrasensory perception faculties, ESP 101. As we evolve as netter beings, our instincts lead us towards the development of our ESP abilities, a necessary component to communicate through and to our own personal higher self. To achieve this goal, the netter must be cognizant of the existing gateways to the higher powers, higher self, or higher selves, and how to use them with proficiency. Moreover, it is essential that the netter knows the protocols for entering these dimensional realms. Our lessons will explore and exercise in the usage of 3 gateways that can transport us to these quantum realms for higher conscious communication and overstanding. They are transfigurational meditation, sleep, and silence. It is important that you remember, proficiency is based on knowledge and input. 1. Transfigurational meditation. This process involves transcending thought itself and experiencing a state of pure awareness and intuition, in which one is aware but without an object of thought, but the readiness to process incoming signals and information from one's higher self, then transform or metamorphosize into an exalted and glorified being. Our primogenitors teaches us that the netter's meditation rituals must include A. The prescribed rituals for invoking one's higher self, and B. Knowledge of the holy name of one's divine primogenitor's higher self. Remember, knowing the name of a person, place, or thing is essential for achieving your goal. The Amsi Heru. Since time immemorial, the holy name of your now latent higher self is known as the Amsi Heru. In the netter being, The Amsieru is that human immortal cell that sparks the miraculous, supreme, and creative intelligence and memory of the all. Your higher self is, in fact, your extrasensory perception. Awakening your Amsieru is an astro-spiritual phenomena. Nevertheless, applying these lessons with dedicated exercise, you will reignite your divine quiescent gene. Aru. Knowing your primogenitor's divine abode is also essential. This place is known as Aru. In our meditation cipher, we will learn the spiritual and quantum mechanics involved in transfiguration. It is also necessary to understand the astrophysics of the ionosphere, for it is our focal point for holy communication. Our zero ring of power is our communication control base, for through our cipher, intelligent light information travels. This light will assist to activate your higher self. This will be achieved from and through ions in the atmosphere, communicating with those electrolyte ions in your nether being. Dreams are definitely an important gateway to aspects of supreme consciousness, however, difficult to comprehend without higher intervention. Through dreams, we also have the capability of transcending both time and space. Dreams offer us the ability to time travel, giving us the potential of observing or manifesting events that have not yet happened, including ones at distant location. Our mission is to master this gateway as well. Silence. Our final meditation experience will be in the holy gateway of silence. Your higher self is intuitively aware of the present time and the duties therein. The sacred gift, the breath of life, has a limitation. Fear, anxiety, grief brought about through the input of the mortal app hastens the breath count. We must practice the conservation of this finite commodity. Silence offers us that precious option. Be conscious that the new app implanted in all of our supplications are empowered to assist you in your new evolution. In order for these applications to work successfully, they must be holistically absorbed into the essence of your being. In this app, see the greater hidden realms that exist in your silence. Look for and recognize the greatness, the beauty, and the power that's in the holy silence, the preservator of the divine breath. Take this application in your silence as you study your miraculous. As we prepare to meditate, let us focus and massage our minds with today's lesson. I will wander no more. conscious being and practice separating my conscious from the unconscious, the mortal from my immortal being. This I will do in silence. This information will be encoded in your immortal app. Now we will begin our meditation by unlocking the gateway to our transfiguration. Please find a comfortable position. You may be seated or lying down, palms up or down, or on your heart, and closing your eyes. In this moment, go within to your gateway that leads you to the inner quiet and peace, your Aru. Release yourself from all thought and begin to observe the inflow and the outflow of your breath. With each inhalation and exhalation, allow yourself to become more and more relaxed, more comfortable, more at peace. Then gently repeat the new implant. I am a nectar being, knowing the difference between mortality and my immortal self. No more shall I wonder. Repeat this mantra effortlessly and allow it to flow in your mind with ease. Now please continue with your meditation in your space-time. I will mind the time, and at the end, you will hear me ring the A bell, indicating our completion. Resort to this app in silent meditation when time matters attempt to steal your breath of life.